We are going to play some killer sounding power chords, and I call these variations of power chords, and I'll tell you the secret. I mean, it's no secret, but all we're doing is we're taking a power chord and we're just playing something different for the second note of that power chord to come up with those cool sounds you just heard. That's what we're going to go through. I'll have the tabs up for you. Now, this song that we're learning, this is part of a song called Jai Yen Yen, which that's a Thai phrase. I'll talk more about that song at the end of this video. There's a really cool and interesting and probably very helpful story. You probably know someone who this story is about, so hang around for our guitar chat at the end of this lesson, but let's dive right in. As always, let's start out by playing the riff out in the open, and then I'll break everything down note for note. The slide's not really part of it, I just like to do that sometimes. Here's the riff. So pretty simple for the most part. We've got 4 power chords here, are variations of power chords. These are chords that are just variations, and all that means, and of course there's some technical terminology for this, but all this really means is you're just changing the way you play the power chord a little bit, specifically that second note that makes up the power chord, right? That's really all these are, and it's just a way to get some cool sounds instead of just playing the normal power chord like we're basing this on an A power chord. See what we did there? All we did is, first of all, I started out playing just the A power chord, right, with the open A string, but then I just played it an octave higher, which we're playing that on the D and the G strings there, okay, that's frets 5 and 9. All we're doing, and this same concept is used throughout the rest of this lesson here, all we're doing is just changing that second note around a little bit, okay? And remember, at the end of this lesson, after we go through this, I'm going to show you some ways you can expand and make this your own. But all we're doing is just changing that second note, so instead of putting that on the 9th fret, well, why don't we put it on the 5th fret? So it kind of makes you switch your fingers around a little bit. So that first variation of power chord, okay, that's going to be on the D and G strings. All of these are actually on the D and G strings. We're going to be playing frets 7 followed by 5, okay, kind of backwards like that. So that's our first part. So let's just play this. I'll put the little tabs. You really don't need tabs, but hey, I'll throw them up there anyway for you, okay? So here's what we're doing. Next power chord we're playing, or variation of power chord I should say, we're just going to move everything up to what would be based on the G power chord, but we're going to play frets, again, we're still on the D and G strings, we're going to play frets 5, then 4. So sort of a backwards finger positioning here again. So here's that part, the second chord. Okay, next power chord we're playing, another variation here, and this is going to be really based on an E power chord. I went to the regular E power chord, or the regular one, the lowest one, the one we always gravitate towards playing as metal guitar players, right? But I just played the octave higher. That's actually not what I'm playing. I want to start there just to show you the power chord, right? D and G strings, frets 2 and 4. What we're going to do to make this a variation of that, we're just going to slide that pinky up one more to the 5th fret of the G string there. And I love this chord. You've heard me say this on prior lesson videos. I just love the way this sounds. So here's that part. The final chord in this progression here is going to be based on an F power chord. But we're not going to play the F power chord. We're going to turn this into a variation of something kind of cool, right? I don't want to say it's cooler, but I mean, it's all cool. Again, it's just something a little bit different, okay? So we're on, again, D and G strings, frets 3 and 5 for the F power chord. However, that's not what we're playing. Instead, we're going to change that second note on the G string. We're going to change that to the 4th fret and then also to the 2nd fret. And here's what we play at the end, this final chord here. Now, let's run through this. I'll put the tabs, so follow along. I'll kind of slow this down a little bit. Pretty simple for the most part. It's just getting your fingers used to those kind of backwards positions if you're not used to playing these types of chords. So this is a fun thing to practice here. And of course, after that, we're going to come up with some new stuff. I'm going to share some cool stuff with you, but let's play along with this, okay? Let's go through some changes you can make. No tabs here. What I want you to do is just play around with that variation of power chords, okay? So let's take that A power chord, okay? We're in the key of A minor here. We're playing D and G strings, frets 7 and 5. Well, let's change that around some, right? Let's do something different there. Remember, you've got the regular power chord, right? Frets 7 and 9. So you've got... all I did, I kept that one note, that first note constant, okay? The D string, the A note there, the D string 7th fret, and I just played around with some of the other notes on that second string. Not really a big deal, just go exploring. You don't have to play what I played, just try playing a different note for that second note of the power chord, right? I threw in, of course, the 7 and 9, then 7, 7. I barred both the notes, all right? We did this 7 and 5, fret 7 and 5. We went up to 7 and 4, which check this out. This is a cool sound. You can do so much with that. Let's just take one more. Let's take the F. Remember, we're playing the F like this. What else can we come up with? Let's play those notes, but let's throw in some other stuff. So here we go. It is time for our guitar chat, but real quick, if you do not have my free practice guide called Metal Riffs and Licks, download a copy of that. There's a link in the description of this video, so scroll down and grab a copy of that after this video here. That guide has literally helped thousands of guitar players on my YouTube channel. I give that to all of my YouTube subscribers. Now, if you have my free practice guide, then you might want to check out my online guitar courses. I've got a beginner's metal guitar course called Metal Guitar Apprentice. That's great if you're just starting to play this style of music or any subgenre of metal. We cover the fundamentals in that course. It's also a great course if you've been away from the guitar for quite some time and you're just getting back to it. Well, this is a really good refresher to help catch you back up to speed. Now, if you're at an intermediate or beyond that, I have another course called Metal Riff Master. This gives you over 80 new metal riffs. We implement different techniques and methods during the riffs. I have them kind of like bucketed together for you in each module, and not every riff is in the same key, so you're really going to learn your fretboard a lot better as well. All of my courses also have bonus modules to them as well, so hey, take a look at all that good stuff. The links are in the description of this video. Now, I do hope you take this message to heart, especially that last part of the video. That message was just this: expand on what I'm sharing with you. Play around with those power chords. I always want you to play around with stuff and just see what you can come up with. Yes, I want you to learn my riffs. That's great. You can learn other guitar riffs, but unless you're expanding on them, adding stuff to them, taking stuff away, playing them in different keys, just trying different things, well, you're just playing someone else's song. There's really not too much special about that, in my opinion. You, as a guitar player, well, more than a guitar player, you are what? You are a creator. You're meant to create stuff. So sure, learn my riffs. I want you to learn them. I'm honored that you want to learn them and everything I put out there on this channel, but expand on that. See what you can come up with, because you've got some cool stuff inside of you. It's time to get it out. Speaking of cool stuff, so again, Jai Yin Yin, which means cool heart. You know, Jai is heart in Thai. Jai Yin Yin just means keep a cool heart in Thai language. I've been studying that language. Most of you know my wife is Thai, but I've been studying the language for many, many years now. I wish I could say I was fluent, but I'm a little less fluent than I'd like to be, so I continue to study, read and write and all that stuff. But I love the country, I love the culture, we love everything about it. But there's a lyric in the song that says, "Mai bin lai," which is a very common phrase. Hey, don't worry about it. Mai bin lai Jai Yin Yin. What the song is about someone who, they just feel like the world's against them. Like everywhere they turn, somebody's out to get them. You know, everything's just not going in their favor, and they just got this huge chip, and I don't mean potato chip, bad pun. They got a huge chip on their shoulder, right? And I have a good friend, a very close friend of mine who used to be like this. So my good friend Tom, he won't mind me throwing him out there, but very close friend, very great person, very awesome heart that Tom has. But when I first met him, this is back in like the mid-90s, you know, he played in a band with me called The Guys, way back, right? We had a few cool shows, but in any case, though, he just thought that everybody was out to get him and people looking at him wrong and all this stuff. So he found a way to just knock that chip off his shoulder and just turn things around, right? So that's kind of what the song's about. It's about, hey, you know, not everybody's out to get you. The world's not really out to get you. Now, if you perceive life that way, and if those are the types of things you dwell on, well, yeah, that's probably how your life is going to be. But I'm a big believer that, you know, what we dwell on, and of course what we give, the value we give and what we put out there into the world, you know, we're going to get that back as well. And I think life kind of works like that. Doesn't mean that everything's always going to be perfect, but it does mean we always have a choice in how we respond to things, and our next phase in life will be based on that choice. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, Jai Yin Yin, that's a song off my latest album called Overcometh, and I want to thank you so much for supporting that album. I released that in December 2023. Now, if you want to check out the lyric video on Jai Yin Yin, well, I'll throw it up there. You can check that out. That's the lyric video for Jai Yin Yin. And if you've already seen that video, well, that's the one you need to check out next. So go watch that video. Thank you so much for all the support. Until next time, keep it metal and keep playing music.